are here again. It's Atlantic Discuss. My name still remains Adebalogun. Yes, Atlantic Discuss. Every Friday, we come to you with a reverberating topic, We try and discuss what needs to be done with mankind, what can be done better, what needs to be done better. It's all about improvement, but it's always no holds barred. We like people that go for the jugular, erudite scholar, people who have earned their epaulets, irrespective of what their profession is. That's all it's all about. We share knowledge. It's always a discussion. We also have an idea of what we're talking about. And that's why today we're going to talk about the imposition of Sharia law over ancestral and traditional worship, especially in the southwestern part of Nigeria. We all know ancestral worshiping has been there in the past, even before Islam came, before Christianity came. But yes, you can't just use any new religion or any new authority to discountenance what's been there before. Right now, the people of southwestern Nigeria still hold sway with their old traditional belief. Even in so many cases, some are Muslims, they still hold on to their traditional belief. Some are Christians, they still hold on to their old traditional belief. How this is done, I don't know. That's why we have two very important elder statements to help us trash out this issue. It's a very hot topic in the southwestern part of Nigeria now. Southwestern part of Nigeria, as we know, are occupied by the Yorubas, a lot of which are in Benin Republic today, and this transgressed from Ilorin in northern, middle-western Nigeria to some part of Benin Republic, Kogi State,
yes.
Kogi, are all the way down. When you talk of Sabe, Kobe, Ketu, all in Benin Republic, they're all part of the Yoruba enclave. That's why today we have our in-house erudite mentor, Samuel Adewusi is always here, the erudite lawyer, international lawyer, is here. Welcome, Mr. Adewusi, sir. Welcome to Atlantic Discuss. Been a while.
Thank you very much. I appreciate, and thanks for having me again. And good day to your audience all over the planet.
All right. And we also we're breaking a record now. We have two guests, actually. So we have Asiwaju Mayungbe with us. Asiwaju, welcome to Atlantic Discuss, sir.
It's a pleasure.
Baba is in Ikene, I'm correct, sir. Are you in Ikene?
I'm in Ikene, but
okay.
I'm from Ijebu.
Oh, fantastic. So it's good to know that you're reaching us from the heart of the Yoruba land. Yeah, so Samuel Adewusi is not a guest here. He's always coming. You all know he's an erudite lawyer, legal luminary, international lawyer, immigration, business, contracts, just name it. A lot of publication, well known. So, but we have to introduce Asiwaju Mayungbe. He's a distinguished traditional leader, a free thinker, something he doesn't hide, and part of what we're going to discuss today, and who possesses profound knowledge of Yoruba culture and heritage, rooted in ancient wisdom. He provides visionary guidance for personal and collective transformation. He is an Ifa, divination, traditional medicine, and community development leader. So he's an Ifa priest in a nutshell. As a revered Baba Yoruba leader, Asiwaju Mayungbe imparts timeless values, principles in so many people daily. So through a selfless service, countless individuals have found direction and fulfillment in their life. And he has co-partnered so many community organizations in Ijebu land, but not limited to Ijebu land, across the southwestern part of the
United States of America.
Even in the United States of America. Thank you,
sir. Over 40
that.
years.
With over 40 years. Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, Chief Mayungbe is a U.S. citizen.
Oh, and, wow, fantastic.
He was in Houston, in your neighborhood.
Oh, wow.
And so he should be visiting Houston soon. And
okay, we look forward to seeing him. We look forward to seeing him.
So catch up with you guys.
Oh, fantastic. So, like we always say, it's a no-holds-barred interview. We go for the jugular always. So, Asiwaju, let me start with you. Because of your background and all that. So my first question will go to you. So what is the historical context of Islam spread in Yoruba land? And how did we coexist with them? When did he come? How did he come? And why are we where we are? Over to you, sir.
I think, if I could remember, from our days of primary school and secondary school, history class taught us about Uthman Dan Fodio and his legion of jihadists. What we were taught in history was that they came with Quran and machete in their hands. It's either you accept the Quran or they cut your head off. I didn't make this up. It was all over there. They taught us in classes. And up till now, since that time till now, they are still fighting jihad war against individual. They don't have regard for secular nation. And they don't care. They don't believe in religious harmony and unity. They love to impose their own imported belief system on the indigenous citizens, the owners of the land. They don't own land. They don't own anything. But they came immersed with evil intention, and they hid it under, quote unquote, Islamic religion. We don't practice religion. We, the traditionalists, the Isheshe people. Isheshe is in us. When you say, Uri eni, Isheshe eni, Iya eni, Isheshe eni, Baba eni, Isheshe eni, Ifa eni, Isheshe eni, you will see that they can never be forceful. Our belief system is an abomination for us to force what we believe, despite the fact that we are indigenous citizens, that God enthroned with all these riches, which are embedded in our tradition, heritage. They came from nowhere. You know, they said amalgamation of 1914, this and that. Nigeria became a product that was bought. And those who bought that product now use the system of indirect rule to empower the weak ones in mind. You know, once you are weak in your mind, you will not have what is called golden knowledge. They don't have the golden knowledge. They came and imposed that fake knowledge that is not harmonious, that is with egregious behaviors. And they do all kinds of things. That is why till now, they are still forcing that Sharia law. They want to put it through the house. And they don't know the gravities. The gravity of what they are doing, they don't even know it. They can't spell it. They don't know that it could cause mayhem in the entire nation because they are not allowing what you call unity to prevail. They don't want anything, they don't believe in a nation that is secular, where you have respect for other people's spiritual belief system. Yoruba, we don't fight. We don't force what to believe on anybody else. And they are taking advantage of the Omoluabi that is in us. Omoluabi is from Ifa corpus. Everything we do comes from our tradition. Ifa spirituality, you can call it spirituality, you can call it what you want to call it, but we don't believe in religion.
All right, let me quickly chip in something. Yeah, I mean, for the privilege of those that are watching us, what is Isheshe? But how do you define it? A lot of people just see it, they read about it. Even some Yorubas, they don't know what Isheshe is. Can you put it in proper perspective for us?
I've already said it. When you talk about Isheshe, you talk about your inner head. You talk about the outer head. You talk about what entails tradition. And what is tradition? Is the legacy, the training that our forefathers lived and they imbibed in us. Is part of what Almighty Creator imbibed in us. That is Isheshe. That's why I say Uri eni, our head, in our outer head, is our own tradition. It's what we do every day. It's our own education. Golden knowledge of self, in a nutshell, is Isheshe.
All right, sir.
So
with
may I-
Adewusi.
may I add just a brief stuff? I mean, there are many.
Okay, it's
people
a discussion.
who are interested.
Right, sir.
Isheshe is just a traditional religion, traditional spirituality and a way of life of the Yoruba people. Now, before, just like Chief Mayungbe said, before Islam, before Christianity, it was the way of life, the active way of life of Yoruba people. It is something that is practiced, without, some people don't even think of, around that time, based on what people said, you don't even have to think about it. Just like Chief said, when you look at it, that Isheshe is Isheshe, which means your own Isheshe is your head. Your own Isheshe is your mother. Your own Isheshe is your father. Your own Isheshe is that particular Ifa corpus that would have been given to you when you were 3 days old, which is called Kosejaye, or that was given to you again, if you missed that part, that was given to you when you became an adult, and you now do what we call a tefa, which is mean you want to know what the divinities had in store for you as a human being. So that is what it is, in a nutshell.
So if I understand you properly, you're saying that Islam and Christianity, for example, were imposed religion on the Yoruba people. Am I correct?
Correct.
Yes, sir.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. This question is to Mr. Adewusi. I'll come back to you, Asiwaju. Now, in the whole of Nigeria, for example, I mean, I do a lot of research, especially on geography, ethnic groups, especially in the East and Central African region. I realized that I don't want to talk about any other West African or East African country now. Let me narrow it down to Nigeria. I discovered that Nigeria, it's the only, I mean, the southwestern part of Nigeria, which is Yoruba land, is the only part of Nigeria where you have a combination of Muslims and Christians. You understand? In some instances, some statistics even say it's almost 50-50, but nobody has said it's more than 60-40. So now, if, for example, you feel that Muslims are trying to lord it over ancestral worship here, can we say that the same is the issue with Christians over the same Yoruba traditional worship?
Well, that is a very, very good question. I didn't see that coming. Thanks.
We try to balance since Atlanta discussed.
I mean, like I said, we, especially the practitioners of Isheshe, we see both Islam and Christianity as an imposition. But remember, another thing that the Yoruba culture and tradition calls for, it says that Onokon Woja. When it says Onokon Woja, they use that as an analogy for how to reach the divinity, how to reach the deity, the creator. It means that your religion as you practice it, just like we say about Isheshe, the way you practice it is germane and individual to you, not to anyone else. That is why we, the Isheshe practitioner, do not try to impose our religion, our beliefs on anyone else. Now, if you look at the history of both Christianity and Islam in Nigeria, if you look at both the practice of the history of Christianity and Islam in Nigeria, you will find out that not only did they impose themselves, but they did it through various methods of suppressing, denigrating, disrespecting, and outright hostility against the traditional worshippers.
How so?
Outright. How so? Now, take for example, there is remember, I'm not going to go far back. I've been, Chief Mayungbe already talked about the fact that people came with swords and was telling you that you have to convert. Now, Christian worshippers will go down to the traditional shrines of the Yoruba people and start burning down the shrine. Not only that, They say, when they are preaching, they turn everything that has to do with the traditional practice of Isheshe. They call it, what is demonic? And you are saying to yourself, how could what has been existing prior to the coming of your religion suddenly be demonic? And, so I am giving you that aspect. But another part of it that you can also see is the fact that when during the I think it was sometimes last year, when the people, some traditional practitioners wanted to hold their festival in Kwara State. If you recall, it was Sulu Gambari, I don't know whether it is the Emir of Ilorin, that forbade the holding of the festivals. These people were not doing evangelizing. They were not seeking to convert anyone. They just want to hold a festival procession from one place to the other. The whole thing probably wouldn't last more than 3 or 4 hours. But they were forbade from doing so. That, to me, is a vivid example of what we are talking about. So the Christians, on the other hand, burning down, shrines of the traditional, practitioners, and telling everyone that whatever practice that you have, existing before them is demonic, is one thing, from the Christians. And then from the, Muslim, from the Islamic side, it is, outright banning of, just a simple festival. So imagine if you cannot hold a festival, what else can you do? A festival is nothing. A festival is, time for people to have fun, time for people to, celebrate, time for people to hold. Listen, the Islamic people, the Islamic religion, that religion has about how many holidays in Nigeria? Several holidays in Nigeria where they hold festival, and nobody ever stopped them from doing so. And somebody just wanted to take one day to celebrate, its, divinity. And here, one of its divinities. And here you are telling them they cannot hold it. And this incident actually happened twice, probably 3 times in Kwara State. So that is the vivid example I can give you right now, and because I don't want to take too much time and dwell so much on one topic. So,
okay.
That is...
Chief, are you still there, sir?
I'm here. Okay. I have to come inside the car and leave the house.
No problem. Better for us. So, Chief, now, like I asked Mr. Adewusi, we have Christians, we have Muslims in the southwestern part of Nigeria. And the southwest of Nigeria is probably the only sub-region where you have a mixture of both. Now, statistically, some people think it's 50-50 and all that. What percentage of the traditional worshippers do you think we have in the southwest today? I mean, if you look at 100% as a baseline, what is the percentage of traditional worshippers do you think we have?
To be honest, those statistics have not been taken because of what? They have total disregard for indigenous spiritualism. They don't have regard for it, no respect. And when something that does not belong to you, according to the will of Almighty Creator, and you now imbibe in the imported religion of other nations and other races, you are like a sea without source. That person is like a tree without root, that the leaves dry and then withered away. That kind of person, the mind wanders, not even in spiritual world, outside where wind blows the mind away. Nothing to connect with. The Arabs can connect with their Islamic religion. The Roman people can connect with their Roman spirituality, religion. But for somebody who is of Yoruba descent to come and now tell me, it's uncalled for and unfounded anywhere. If then we are to take this into consideration, I would rather say maybe 70% of everyone in Southwest or more are deep-rooted in Isheshe. Because as long as you say you are a Yoruba person, you will have lineage praise. As long as you have lineage praise,
that's Oriki.
Inside Oriki, inside that lineage praise, there's an Orisha. Not Muhammad, not Pope, not Judaism. None of those things are in our blood. None of those things were given to us initially by Almighty Creator. The Creator knew what He was doing when He created us with our tongues, with our languages, with everything there is out there that He endowed us with, the gift of nature. Now, when we go astray and we start finding flimsy excuses that your own religion, you do it your own way, you do this. We don't have religion in Southwest. We have never been Christians. We have never been Muslims. The culture, tradition, and heritage of those who call themselves Muslims are deep-rooted from Israel, from Rome, and we are not Romans. Romans don't have lineage praises. We have lineage praises. Anyone that says it's not doing Isheshe and is a Yoruba person must denounce his Oriki. And once that is denounced, that person cuts himself away from reality of life. So Isheshe is part of reality of life. So when they come with all these fake statistics that in Southwest, 70% are Muslim, 60% is Bologna. Every Yoruba person is Onisheshe because they have Oriki. And we have our names that the Arabs don't bear our name. They can't speak our language. Everything we do comes out of Ifa. The language, even the food we eat, comes out of Isheshe. Education comes out of Isheshe. The training, the Western training that we receive is not education, it's training. Because the curriculum is designed by another race. So the golden knowledge of self, we don't have. So when we want to talk about golden knowledge of self, we are talking about Isheshe. So I don't believe in the statistics that look at this. Whenever these people have problems, they go to hospital, nothing happens. They go to their churches, their mosques, they go to imam and everything, they will end up coming back to we, Onisheshe. When there is war, when the Fulanis came and descended on us, within the past 3, 4, 5, 2 years, even till now, whom are they running to? The traditional belief system practitioners, the Onisheshe. So why don't go to their church? Why don't they go to Rome or Israel? Look at the Israelites. Do they talk about Jesus when they started killing using missiles? No, they don't. They won't do that because they know the power is in the missiles, is in technology. And we have the traditional technology too. When we use our technology, they call it bad names, all kinds of bad names. They throw it at us. But when they are in trouble, they don't throw bad words. They come seeking, helping. Please help me. Please, I don't want to die. The Fulanis are coming. They dared me in my farm. I threw away my Western knowledge, my Western, so-called Western education. I don't believe in it. You won't see it in my curriculum. So people may say it's an illiterate. I tell them I'm the father of illiterate. But when it is time, to use my Western education, I will use it and unleash that mayhem with it. But,
thank you, sir. Let me ask you this, sir. For the privilege of those that are listening.
Yeah, hold on. May I quickly add that?
Okay, go ahead, sir.
According to the State Department, they envisage that probably in Southwest, they have about 50% Muslim, 40% Christians, but they understood, just like Chief Mayungbe said, that most practitioners, especially on the Muslim side and some on the Christian side, actually practice Isheshe, the traditional beliefs, with their foreign beliefs. Just like Chief Mayungbe said, that when they run into trouble that cannot be solved primarily with their foreign religion, they come at night. Yes, of course, they will preach against it during the day, but they come at night to come and talk to them. So I just want to quickly add that.
All right. Okay. Before I go back to Baba, I had a follow-up for Asiwaju, but let me go back to you, sir. Prophet Mr. Adewusi.
Yes.
What does the Constitution say about religion in Nigeria, for example?
That is a very good question. I just like before we started, I quickly went ahead and did a research. The 1999 Nigerian Constitution actually protects religious freedom and prohibits discrimination based on religious beliefs. Now, also, some part of that Constitution clearly says that there is a freedom to practice and profess religion and to change one religious belief or the other. That doesn't mean that if you change your religion from Islam to Christian, you will not get burnt, or fatwa wouldn't be issued against you. But the Constitution clearly bans that, frowns upon it. Also, the Nigerian Constitution, 1999 Constitution, says no state religion is allowed. There will be no state religion. Let me say that again. That is why this Sharia thing is quite interesting, because the people who want to do it, the people who wanted to impose Sharia, are clearly violating the Nigerian 1999 Constitution, and they have not sought to amend the Constitution. You see what I'm saying? So basically, no state religion, and it also forbids religion, religious instructions in school. However, some people will say, and this is an argument that says that the Constitution is ambivalent about secularism. Let me use that one again, secularism, which means being neutral without practicing any religion. The reason is that in Section 10 of the Constitution is to dissociate religion from politics and public administration, while the other part of the section states that Nigerians should live together in unity under God. But for me, I don't see that. I don't see that as ambivalent. Think, for example, if we want you to live in unity under God, just like I believe Trevor Noah says in one of his shows, when he was talking about colonialism, when the British went down to India, and they were and the British person was telling, he was doing a voice, and he was asking them, say that no, we have practiced one God. This is the British person saying, and then the Indian person was saying, which God? Does your God has a name? You want me to pray to a God that has no name? How do I reach him? Do I say this God and this God? No, not the other God. No, I mean that other God. You see what I'm saying? So when they say practice, live in unity together under God, which God are we talking about? Is it the God of the Christian? Is it the God of Abraham, or the God of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or the God of Isheshe? Olódùmarè ọba tẹrẹrẹ kárí ayé, ọba àwọn ọba olúwa àwọn olúwa, ẹni tó dání tẹ́nìkan ò dá. Are we talking about that God? You see what I'm saying? So for me, as a lawyer, I do not see ambivalence regarding that. When somebody says live under God, that means, that God, the God that each person actually has a belief in. That is what they mean by that. So I don't mean when they say unity under God. You can easily argue it. Which God are we talking about? Is it the God of Islam? Is it the God of Christians? And is it the God of the traditional worshippers? So for me, living on in unity under God means that everybody should go ahead and practice, and reach God the way they want to reach. So
all right, fantastic.
that is the summary. Thank you.
All right. Asiwaju, I'm coming to you, sir.
No problem.
When Mr. Adewusi was talking, there was something he said that really pricked my conscience. I know there are Coptic Christians in Egypt, there are some Christians in the United Arab Emirates, and when they pray, they refer to God as Allah. I know a lot of Christians in Nigeria, for example, don't know that Christians in Egypt refer to God as Allah. So when Mr. Adewusi was talking, he said something about Olodumare, and I've heard Christians pray and they refer to God as Olodumare, which is the name for God in Yoruba. Now, my question to you is this. From everything we have said so far, does the Sheshe people have any issues with the Christians directly, or it's just the Muslims that are the issue, or both of them? I've asked Mr. Adewusi this question, but now I'm asking you, where really lies the problem exactly? Is it that the Muslims don't allow the Sheshe people practice, or is it the Christians that don't allow, or the government are hypocritical in their approach? Because at the end of the day, most of the Yoruba traditional rulers were brought into their obaship through the traditional means. So what exactly is happening? Why is there a position when the culture itself explains it?
Talking about the Obas and the Sheshe, those Obas, they are lost. They have forgotten their source. They are like dried river that have no source anymore. They have gross abuse of the stools of their forefathers. The doctrine of law that was established by our forefather is tradition. That tradition lives on, no matter how much it has hallowed by the ways of men. The ways of men that this thing was hallowed on circles around these Obas who have total disregard for Isheshe. And they are not supposed to even be Obas because they become Obas of churches and mosques. They don't have regard. That is that. Then, when you talk about your question, the problem is this: the government itself has total disregard and respect for traditional worshippers and the word Isheshe itself. Why? We have an organization that we are projecting that should be the quote-unquote umbrella organization of Onisheshes. Everyone, either Orisha or Ifa, everything, because the problem we are having is we don't have umbrella organization like the Christians and Muslims. And Muslims and Christians don't even have umbrella organization in Nigeria. The umbrella comes from Mecca and Medina. The Christians' umbrella comes from Rome and Israel. The real umbrella that should be indigenous that we are putting together, since January this year, we have presented over 20 names to be registered in the so-called secular nation of Nigeria. They have turned us down more than 20 times. And the Constitution says we are in a secular nation and there must be respect for everybody's religion to foster unity. The government itself is not fostering unity. They have given their souls and minds and life to the order that comes from Mecca and Medina. They would not register anything that has to do with Isheshe in Abuja. I'm here in Nigeria. I'm not afraid of anything because what I'm saying is not illegal and it's not against the law. But the government itself is against what God ordained the creator.
Sir, let me just give you a quick follow-up. Can you now explain to our viewers, our listeners all over the world, the details of the Sheshe tradition? I mean, for example, Mr. Adewusi referred to Olodumare. A lot of people will want to understand how it works. You've spoken about Ifa, you're also an Ifa priest. You understand? People have heard of Orunmila, Shogo, Oya, and all that. Can you put all these things in proper perspective, historical perspective, especially when people talk about Yoruba? Because the white people will tell you Yoruba mythology. So can you, in your own words, put it in proper perspective for all and sundry to understand? For the privilege of those watching.
First of all,
yes, sir.
The supreme being, Olodumare, is God Almighty Creator that created human beings and the Orishas. We have 401 Irumales, deities. In Christianity, maybe they call some angels. In Islam, they know what they have, they know what they call themselves. In hierarchy, they have Mut, M-U-T-T. They have prophet. They have imams. In our own tradition, in our own spiritual way of respecting and regarding Almighty Creator is the one that we believe in. And through the messengers of Almighty Creator, we call them Irumales. And those Irumales, as I said, in Christian world, they call them angels or whatever they deem fit to call them. When we are to seek attention of Almighty Creator, with the belief that Almighty Creator is so big that we dare not go to him directly. Sometimes we have to go through our Babalawos, who will define Ifa, going to Ifa corpus. After they go into Ifa corpus and they come out with what we have to do, everything we do has to do with Orisha. Eniti Orida Orisha. Let me correct something. I'm not a Babalawo.
Okay.
I'm a scholar. I can educate, I can do this and that because I love to do research and I love to work with ordained Babalawos. Now, when everything we ask from the Creator comes to fruition, we will now begin to thank our Babalawo, who will then go to now turn to Olodumare and give thanks. So in our own way, we give what you call thanksgiving. Ikore. Ikore is not that the word Ikore, and Shekore, has nothing to do with Christianity. They borrowed it from Isheshe. Most of the things that we are doing now, they are doing in Christianity, even in Islam, were borrowed from Isheshe. And that's why those who colonized us, who imposed all these imported religions on us, they came up with something called trademark, copyright. The copyright law, the trademark law that the Westerners founded was not really for the purpose of Westerners to use, to cage our minds. So when they use all that we have originally, then they will now trademark or copyright it. And then they will now say, we can't use those things. If you look at the Christians, most of the things they do there is from Ifa. My research told me that Ifa and Orishas, every religion in the world combined, they are not as old as Ifa itself. They are not as old as Ifa. But those who have the power of pen, the so-called colonizers, they come up with all kinds of fictitious history that have nothing to do with their own being, but Africans. And they change everything around. Then since our minds have been taken through all these imported cultures, tradition, religion, then we become lost. We now say, what are you talking about? What is Ifa? What is Orisha? What is this? What is that? If they have angels, so that is what Ifa is all about.
All right, so
When
quick
you
follow-up. Yeah, sorry to interject you. A quick follow-up. The general perception is that Isheshe and traditional worshiping basically are used for negative purposes, you know. I mean, for example, when people want to harm somebody, they use the ancestral way to do it. Can you correct that impression? Well, why do you think people think like that? Because you said that even the Christians, when they can't solve problems, when Muslims can't solve problems, like Mr. Adewusi said, they still come back to the Isheshe tradition to have it done. But there's a general impression out there that the Sheshe tradition is used more for negative purposes than positive purposes. Can you speak to that regard, sir?
My brother, mind
Yes,
is a terrible thing to waste.
Hmm.
Our minds have been wasted by those who colonize us. They've taken chain, wrap us around our head with padlock. They locked everything up and threw the key that we are supposed to use to unlock that padlock in the middle of the ocean. Me, myself, as a free thinker, I've been able to go into that ocean, found the key, and unlock the padlock. That chain and shackle have given them back to those who stole our minds. When they say that people do negative this and that, what would you say about a person that took a old missiles and wiped out a nation, wiped out a people with their own tradition, those who own their own land? Who are the people killing in Nigeria? Who are the Boko Harams? Why are we not saying that they are doing bad things? Why are we not picking up on the great things that emanates from this tradition, this Ifa that is offering solution to problems? Why are we not picking on the Omoluwabi that is in us? It's not from Christianity. Why are we not picking from all the herbs through Osoyin Baba Ogun, the father of medicine? They now tell you so is the father of truth. The father of truth is Shango. The father of medicine is Osoyin. But with all this Western imposition, don't forget, they came with Bible in their left hand and whip in their right hand. They took our minds. They forced us into what we were not. Once a mind is taken, that's why I say mind is a terrible thing to waste. Everybody that is saying negative things, they are fetish, they are this. I spent 40 years of my adult life in America. Nobody is as fetish as the Westerners. They eat their meat raw with blood gushing out. They now say things to denigrate us, derogative words. We are the one that should work on that. If anybody should come to my house and say he has a better thing to offer me, I should not eat the food that God Almighty Creator endowed me with and my ancestors, and I should be eating pizza from his own country. I know that that person is there to destroy my economy. If anybody should come and hide under religion, that I should wear a tie and suits and coat, that if I don't wear those things, they will destroy my heritage, my lineage, everything. Then that person is there to destroy my economy and to destroy who I am. That's what they have worked on. That they've used their weapon of mass destruction to destroy our minds. And they've come with molasses, as we learn, molasses, mirror, this and that, to steal what we own and give us Bible. Bible is just a historical book of the Israelites. It has nothing to do with us. All of the letters written in the Bible, how many Yorubas did they write it to? Who is master and who is slave that must obey his master? When you have all these things imbibed in you, your mind is taken away. You have an empty socket in your head. We need mass education, the real education, the golden knowledge of self. Once it's taken away from you, You are a lost human being. You are not even a human being anymore. You don't have identity. Our identity has been taken away from us through all these imported, imposed religions. By the way, there are only two religions in the world, Islamic and Christianity. And they have fundamentalists. Every other ones are spirituality that is being practiced by indigenous people. Confucian, Hebrew, Hindu, and so on and so forth. They are deep-rooted into certain people created by Almighty God, just as we believe in Almighty Creator. I am a humanist. I have a foundation. We help people. When I sleep and wake up in the morning, the first prayer I pray to is, Shango Olukoso, the Father of Truth. I'm going out today. If there's anybody out there that needs help and I don't help, strike me down. That's my prayer every day.
Sir, let me interject you one more time before I go to Mr. Adewusi. So are you one of those that believe that public officers in Nigeria, for example, when they take their oath of office, if they are allowed to swear, take their oath of office by the Sheshe standard, maybe to Shogo, for example, they will live more above board and be less corrupt? Do you agree with that?
Of course, yes. Of course, yes.
Why so? Why do you think
Why so? Let me tell you something. As we are talking now, we are discussing with free mind. Nobody is committing any crime. And you go around, you start tying rope that doesn't belong to my neck so that you can lose me publicly. When you say your own things, you voice out all those egregious things, I will say, I don't have anything to say. But I would like to swear to Shango. I will say, if what Mr. So Balogun said about me is true, may Shango Oluko so do this, and that. But if not so, if it's true about what I said, everything he said, may Shango Oluko so do this to me, Mr. Balogun. All my life, it has happened 3 times. Third day, they saw the wonders of Shango. Heads start rolling from the family of that person because I don't lie. I believe in Yoruba belief system. But when they bring Bible, they can say anything they want to say. From here till thy kingdom come, nothing will happen. When they bring that story book called Quran that comes from tradition of the Arabs, nothing will happen because they have nothing to do with the blood of the indigenous Isheshe practitioners. You will see that Isheshe practitioners, they don't go around killing people, fighting wars. From my own research, over 350 million Black race have been offered as sacrifices in Christianity. Now, when you say that, the so-called Christians will tell you, those were those days. It's not happening now. Why did it happen in those days? The Mohammedanism, they are still doing it now. They are still doing their jihad war. And if you total all the people that they've killed, it has not even reached half of that of Christianity. They were killing with poison food under humanitarian services, quote unquote. The problem we are having is we don't read. Once we have 4 books from 4 corners of a classroom, and they say you get PhD in this, you get a master's degree in this, you get this in this. That is what we call education. Education that has nothing to do with our own indigenous things. Look at the game we play, Ayo game. That is invention of arithmetic. And if you have to find the source, you have to go into Ifa corpus. When you talk about Aje, when you talk about economy, it comes out of Ifa corpus. This Yoruba language that we are speaking, our Kotu Ojire language, is from Ifa corpus. When you don't know anything about this, look at ìgbéyàwó. It's not a Christian word. It's from Ifakopus. Now, when you turn your back against all this, what makes you a human being? That's why they say 5 black people amounts to 1 white man. Because white men, they will never leave their root. You are in America. When I was going to become a citizen, they made sure that I was deeply rooted into their baptism. You have to know about American literature, American history, American everything before you can become their citizen. What happens here in Nigeria?
All right, thank you, sir. We are pressed for time. We have about an hour, but let's make the best of what we have left. Mr. Adewusi, I want to try and see if we can make some progress now, especially on mutualism, living together and cohabitation and all that, because I don't think Islam is going anywhere, neither is Christianity, and from all indication, the Sheshe tradition too is not going to disappear. So now, what initiative promotes mutual understanding and respect currently, and how can tension between all the communities be mitigated? Because it does look like the extension. I mean, I've followed a lot of news from here, and I see that some traditional rulers and traditional rulers to traditional rulers, some don't get along. Some are purely Islamic, some are totally traditional. I see that some tension. I saw that between the Oluwo and the Oni of Ife recently. I also know that some Yoruba traditional rulers who have called Islam or Islamists and Muslims have said that when they die, they don't want to be buried the traditional way. They want to be buried the Muslim way. So now, of course, the charter, United Nations Charter is clear. If the constitution or no constitution, there's freedom of speech, there's freedom of association, there's freedom of disassociation. We've said it here in the past. So is there any initiative promoting mutual understanding and respect currently? And of course, how can tension between communities be mitigated?
Well, there has always been this interfaith religious, initiatives. And many of them either by the government or by private, people. Currently, I do not know, I'm not aware of the current one now, because like you said, there is a serious division in the land. My simple take, especially regarding the traditional rulers in Yoruba land, is that if you are not going to abide by the tradition of the Yoruba people, then do not sit on the thrones of the ancestors. Is that too much to ask?
No.
You remember when Queen Elizabeth died the other day? Did you see the so-called, we here in Africa, we were very, very happy to see all these rituals that are being performed. And that is rooted in their Anglo-Saxon and Christian beliefs, especially more Anglo-Saxon, where they were moving the crowns, where they were, calling, the dead, queen certain names, and then, trying to do all this stuff. Those are rituals. But because they were performed by white folks, we didn't see anything wrong with it. Just like when we read Harry Potter, we don't see anything wrong with it. But when it is our own traditional belief and somebody is writing about, some, magic being performed, we say that is demonic. But my take is that, going back to your answer, there is currently no interfaith religious initiative that I know about to promote harmonic, living amongst the people of Nigeria. If there are, I am totally oblivion to it. I am ignorant of it right now, especially based on what you just said and what we know and what we've been reading in the news. And my final analysis, like I said, is that my final, suggestion to those people seeking to become the Obas in Yoruba land is this: please, if you are a Christian, a good Christian, I am using that quote and unquote, and you are a Musulmi Ododo, a true Muslim, please do not seek to sit on the traditional stool of the Yoruba people. Do not now come down under the guise of seeking to rule over the people and then do away with the tradition and thumb your nose at the tradition of the people. Especially when you are the king of the town, you are supposed to be neutral in your, in how to do the religion of your people. You are not supposed to choose one over the other because you are supposed to be the father of the community in which you are ruling over. So any king that got into the Yoruba stool and got into the Yoruba throne and then choose one religion over the other, especially when we have 3 religions in Yoruba land, especially I would say 2 religions and 1 traditional beliefs, which is the Sheshe, and you choose one over all the other, then you are doing disservice to the people you are ruling over, and you are actually going against your ancestors. So that is my analysis. But so right now, I don't know anything about any interfaith religious initiative that is supposed to bring people together and get them to live in harmony. So that is my short answer. Thank you.
But do you think they can all live in harmony? I mean, if everybody just
well, why not? Why not? There is nothing preventing anybody from living in harmony. You just have to understand that there are certain things you need to do. First, respect everybody's religion. Is that too hard to do? If somebody said they want to go ahead and have a festival, do not prevent them from doing so. Just like nobody prevented anyone from building churches. Nobody prevented anyone from building mosques. Why is it so hard for people to allow the traditional worshippers to do the simple thing? Because most of the traditional, traditional worship, beliefs in Yoruba land, we do not build a house anywhere except in certain areas. We don't have this gigantic edifice all over the place, trying to compete with others and trying to, evangelize people. So if we don't do that, what threats can we possibly pose to this huge established religion with their mega churches and mega mosques? Don't you find it interesting?
Yes, so that's what you just said now, sir. Sorry to interject you. You just mentioned the word I liked. You said evangelism. Yeah.
Yes.
So are they embarking on any mode of evangelism? I'll ask you why I'm asking this, because when I was born, I was a Muslim. Father is a Muslim. Today I'm a Christian because I attended Christian school, Anglican school, all my education. So, but I mean, I know Muslims through NASFAT, Qarib, and all that, they're doing a lot of evangelism. They are there on the Lagos Ibadan Expressway. Christians do, they have TV station and all that. So don't you think the Sheshe people must find a mode of evangelism to expand?
That is a very good question. When you say must, I don't think must.
Or should.
And maybe encouraged to do so. But remember now, remember what the Yoruba essence is about Omoluabi. Remember, there are 6 essence of Omoluabi. One of them is being able to speak well. One of them is being able to be brave. One of them is, to be honest. One of them is to be respectful. Remember now. So when we are being respectful, one of the tenets of the Omoluabi is not, when we are being respectful, we will not try to forcefully, because to me, evangelism, I don't care how you put it, it is actually using either, how can I say, emotional, threats of hellfire to get you to come back and join the religion, or any other threat, or any other, emotional, I wouldn't say blackmail because I'm a black male. I would say, emotional white male to get you to join the religion, either the Islamic religion or the Christian religion. As far as we are concerned, we want to see you do well in any mode of religions that you have. And we want you to see us practicing, our essence, the essence of Omoluabi. And if you think that this person is actually somebody I need to emulate, then you can join Isheshe voluntarily. You see what I'm saying? And there are more people now become, joining us. I believe it was Professor Wole Soyinka who said something about, 6 or 5 years ago that Yoruba religion, we call it religion, but we usually don't. Yoruba spirituality is actually gaining more adherents without established churches, without a conquering army, and without all these things you talk about evangelism. Guess what? How are those things happening? Especially in areas, in places like Brazil, places like Cuba, in places, if you go to Argentina now, they are celebrating Egungun Festival.
I know in Brazil, there's a town called Abeokuta, and they speak in Bahia, they speak Yoruba fluently.
But of course, especially in Bahia. But what I'm saying is that in Argentina, Argentina has a history of doing away and massacring its Black people, just to remove them from history. But they have, after they removed the Black people, now they managed to retain the Egungun Festival, which belongs to the Yoruba people. And you go on YouTube, just say Argentina and Egungun, and you'll be surprised. On YouTube, you see them celebrating Egungun. So the question is, the people who are not evangelizing, they are showing by their characters. They are showing by what actually works. When all else fails, does Isheshe actually give you a peace of mind? Because
so you think, for example, I'm sorry, I'm interjecting you. I just want you to answer. Yeah. Do you, for example, think that if Isheshe is embraced more by Nigerians, people in government, that Nigeria, for example, won't be in the kind of milieu is in right now?
No, remember now, politics in Nigeria is performative, especially the way they practice religion. You want to build churches, but you do not have any good character. You are busy stealing money, but you are building churches. You are taking people's money. You are not giving them education or health, but you are buying cars, Ford bishops. You see what I'm saying? The foreign religion is mostly performatives. You saw there was a news of this guy that I read on Twitter. This guy actually stole the money belonging to the people of Kano, but went ahead and bought an apartment that faces Kaaba in Mecca. Think about it. That is the religion that is performative. Performance is what they do. It has nothing to do with character. It has nothing to do with caring for your fellow human beings. Has nothing to do with being kind. It has nothing to do with being honest. It has nothing to do with being truthful. All those things that Isheshe religion actually advocates. Remember, I wouldn't say.
I know Monoabe would not embezzle money. That's what I
all those things. So, but the point is that so the current politicians in Nigeria are busy with performative religions. You see what I'm saying? Going to Friday, going to mosque in Friday and going to perform, Friday prayers every Friday in Mecca, neglecting the health of the people, neglecting the education of the people, But remember now, especially some of these Southwestern, politicians, when nobody is around and looking at them, including some of their daddy geos, they come back to the Isheshe at night. You see what I'm saying?
I find that very interesting.
Yes. So, but for us, we know who they know themselves. We know who they are. But the point is that as far as Nigerian politicians are, they are very, very performative with their religion. It is how much can people see me being, how can I say, devout, without any characters to back them up. No, humanity. Letting people die, in hospitals without medicines. Yet, you are going to church to give Thanksgiving every other day, every other market day. So, or going around like somebody is doing in Abuja now, demolishing people's property. But this person will be the first one in church and they will reserve a seat for him. You see what I'm saying? So, for us, I think it is the same thing that,
Let me go to Asiwaju. We're pressed for time, so I have two quick questions for him.
Yes.
One is on voodoo. And the other one is on Yoruba language as a curriculum in school. So let me start with the first one. Okay. Yoruba is still taught in schools in the Southwest. Some people even study it in the university. As written today from GS1, GS2, GS3, SS1, SS2, SS3, and the university curriculum when you study, do you think it is doing genuine representation to the Sheshe part of the traditional Yoruba culture? I mean, the way
of course now, but we are pushing something now. Ojulowo Oriki Ifa, volumes 1 and 2.
Okay. What's that supposed to be?
Will be imbibed in curriculum, and in West African school certificate, they'll be doing it.
Okay.
It's in the offing, but it's been deep rooted now, and it's been known. We discussed it in Asiwaja Isheshe, Go to Ojire, the umbrella organization that we are building clandestinely. Right. Now, when you divide and conquer a people, there will never be harmony. We have been divided, we have been conquered with imported religions. No matter what you do, no matter how great you are, no matter how much humanitarian services in you, as long as you call yourself Onisheshe, they will still call you Elemi Issue because they are uneducated. They don't even know the word issue was ordained by Olodumare as the Chief Justice of humanity. They don't know. So we need serious education. It behooves me to know that indigenous people that own the land, that own the God-given, the Creator-given, the God-given wealth of the nation, are not even allowed to practice their own indigenous faith. They respect imported faith over indigenous one because we've been divided and we've been conquered. 3 of us in this meeting now. If you are a Muslim, the law is Adewusi, is a Christian, and I'm Onisheshe. There's nothing 3 of us can put together that will prosper. Before we finish that meeting, you will be in Rome and Israel, diverging what we want to do. Adewusi will be in Mecca and Medina, diverging what we want to do. I will be here trying to diverge it to Onisheshe, and then we call it Metalokon. There is no such thing in Mecca and Medina. There is no such thing in Rome. There is no such thing in even America. You see where our problem is? There will never be harmony and unity unless we want to deceive ourselves. There is somebody I was paying school fees of our children. When the child falls sick, I will take her to the most prominent private hospital, spend 100,000, 200,000, spending for humanity. One day we were talking. She said, "Elemi Shuniye, because you don't believe in Jesus." Oh, wow. This is somebody that believes in Jesus, and their church will not even help them with anything. By the way, let me say this. Evangelism is prohibited in Ifa faith. Ọ̀rúnmìlà, ọ̀run ló mọ ẹni tí ó máa là. Ẹ̀dá alààyè kan ò sí níbí tí ó sọ pé ènìyàn kan òtòṣì ẹlẹ́ṣẹ̀. That is from Ifa corpus. Evangelism is nothing but commercial enterprise where the gullible are being taken for their sweat, hard-earned money. That is not allowed in the Sheshe. So we need serious golden knowledge of self, serious education. We can arrange that to go out there and start teaching people the real education. To take their minds back, but not to start telling people, bring this, bring that. If you don't contribute in my Isheshe, you will not make it to heaven.
One final one, sir. Voodoo. What is the what's the relationship between voodoo? You know, as you know, I'm not sure if you know. Well, 1 minute, sir. You know, in Benin Republic, there's a public holiday for voodoo in Benin Republic. You know, and I think the history of that, the religion has always been there, but not recognized. I think it was when President Soglo was in power that gave them that. So now, is voodoo and is other Isheshe, or are they different now? Can you explain to us that? That's your last question.
No, absolutely no. Voodoo, that word is a derogatory word. You know,
Why
they
so?
will call you a tribe. Have you ever seen a white man refer to themselves as tribe? They say ethnic. Have you ever seen them say they are fetish? Have you ever seen them talk about magic? They call it technology. Our own technology is being referred to as negative stuff. You won't have Isheshe technology. They will say magic. There's no such thing called magic in Isheshe. All these were fabricated by the Westerner to put us down. The word voodoo is nowhere to be found in Ifa or Isheshe. It's a man-made word to derogate our own faith. That's why I said the doctrine of law established by my forefathers, hallowed by the ways of man, lives on, and that is tradition. And that tradition, I would never settle for anything less when it's being abused. We have our own technology. We have our own medicine. We have all these things before white men even came to being. We have our own, they say, Garden of Eden. Igbo Itero, Ogba Itero, has been in existence before Adam and Eve.
May I quickly?
Yes, go ahead, sir, because we're about running out.
Because I know we are running out of time.
Yeah, no problem.
For me, I always try to show, because you asked the word for the voodoo.
Yes, sir.
The main, but like he said,
I really want to respond here.
It is a blend. It is a blend of the word. There is a form, the language in Benin Republic called form, and it means voodoo. Voodoo means spirit of God. But remember, in Yoruba word, Odu actually means mystery. You see what I'm saying? So if they say voodoo and they say spirit of God, so it is the Africans that were taken from, part of those areas in, what is the name of that place? Benin Republic, Old Dahomey, that went to Haiti.
Yeah, true.
And then that is where they now spread the word voodoo. But it's supposed to be voodoo. You understand? Yes, so, sir. Like, Chief Mayungbe said, that particular word, as is now being used in the Western, press and in the Western, popular, ideas, it is something that is very derogatory. But when you look at the original in the voodoo, in the fun word, in the fun language, it is voodoo, meaning spirit of God. So I just want to quickly chime in on that.
Thank you so much.
Like Chief said, anything that is derogatory, of course, they will use it on us. But hey, like I said, like Professor Wole Soyinka said, we are still gaining adherents. Despite all over the world, but not here.
I see that. That's one reason why we're having this discussion, because I realized that even on social media, there's been an upsurge in the Isheshe discussion. Yes. So we're going to call it a wrap there. Well, Mr. Adewusi, you're a regular, I know. I mean, you're a man of so many places, politics, ideology, law. You can name a fantastic gentleman,
Thank you.
Asiwaju, this is your first time, and this will not be your last time on Atlanta Discuss, because I know this particular episode is going to draw a lot of reaction, and we're probably going to have a guest from maybe an Islamic scholar or a pastor or something come speak their own and say their own, Very good. And if need be, we'll bring you back again. If possible, we'll put a pastor, Islamic cleric, and Asiwaja Mayungbe as guest in a future edition, and let's do it.
That would be wonderful. We will.
Yeah.
It is rather unfortunate. It is rather unfortunate that we really didn't touch on what we should frown about.
Yeah, you can. Let me give you
this Sharia stuff.
Go ahead. I can give you a minute to do that.
This Sharia stuff, if it is not nipped in the bud, it will create mayhem and economic shower in the nation called Nigeria. Because it will create a lot of problems. We do not want Sharia to be imposed on us in Yoruba land. It is a taboo, and we don't want that taboo. The government must be very, very careful and be cognizant of the effect, the damages it will bring if it is imposed on us. We are not from Mecca. We are not from Medina. We don't have anything to do with that. Even if in our faith is a taboo to impose it on others. So why should we now be subjected to such a foreign law? That thing should be killed immediately. It should not get out there. We are frowning against it. We Onisheshe, the Sheshe people, we are frowning against it, and we will not tolerate it.
And we are kicking against it. And we totally reject it in its entirety.
Thank you so much. Fantastic time with you guys. And I think it's just important to add that. I mean, the Southwest, for example, the 6 states in the Southwest, I think the governor of Lagos State is a Christian. Sanwo-Olu, the one in Ogun State, is a Christian. Osun, I'm not sure, it's both sides, but I know Ondo is a Christian, or Oyo is Christian, Ekiti is a Christian,
Sanwo-Olu is a Muslim.
Is he?
Yes.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
The same thing with
guess what?
Is it Muslim by background or practice? They're two different things. I was born a Muslim, but I'm a practicing Christian.
But by practice. And Sanwo-Olu is anywhere that Asiwaju goes, he goes down there. He cannot practice Christianity. The same thing with the Eleyi of Ogun State.
My governor. Okay, sir. All right. So it's a wrap there. That's Baba's governor, Asiwaju Mayungbe's governor, my governor. So,
Anyway, most of these people have granted Isheshe Day.
I know.
I want you to know that.
The governor of Ogun State, I think, attended something like that recently.
Those are the ones that really know that we are in a secular nation.
Okay, there's a question that just came to my mind, and I'm from Abeokuta, for example, and I know that chieftaincy titles in Abeokuta, you have traditional titles, you have Christian titles, and you have Muslim titles. What I'm referring to that is that I think that's a way to cohabit, actually. You understand? That's a fantastic, and I think we Egbas are doing it very well. Yeah.
Listen, we the Onisheshis are not the problems. The Isheshe actually encourages you to live in harmony with any other religion, because your way is not your way for them to reach the divinity. So it is the other people who should learn to live harmoniously with us, Onisheshe. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you. That's the wrap there. We've had so much fun.
Thank you so much. We can spend 1 year on this, and I will still my resources will still be untouched.
Don't worry, I'm going to be back again. So it's a wrap there. That's the end for this show today. If you're a Muslim scholar, Christian scholar, and you have a dissenting opinion about this, please reach out to us, atlantadiscuss@gmail.com. I repeat, atlantadiscuss@gmail.com. You can also go on Atlanta Discuss channel on YouTube and just send a message on that when this episode, and I'll get back to you. It's as simple as that. We preach cohabitation. I know there is a lot of intolerance in the land, but we have to live together. Like I said in the last show I had with somebody somewhere, I was interviewing someone, and I told them the rainbow colors, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet, we can all live together. The world is a rainbow coalition. So let it stay that way. It's a wrap. See you next week, Friday. Bye, y'all.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Bye.
Bye.